Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another little real talk as we give the Father all the honor, the glory, and all the praise and worship. I pray everybody's doing well. This is a different kind of video, so it's not about the Bible. It's about boxing. This is a video response back to you, Technical Knockouts. I love your email, and it's just for people that love the sport of boxing around the world. No matter what color you are, you want to know my perspective on boxing, because I've been a fan of boxing since I was little, and I will say it have changed a whole lot of ways. But you asked me about people like Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, even back in the day, Ali, so many great ones, Joe Louis, Larry Holmes, you go down the list, Ken Norton, George Foreman, et cetera, et cetera. To me, now this is just my opinion in this video. I'm gonna say that off top. This is just my opinion. When I look at boxing, I look at kind of man box or do he slug? Because to me, now, like I said, it's just my opinion. There is a difference between boxing and slugging. If you really just look at the field of boxing, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not taking nothing, since you said Deontay Wilder, I'm not taking nothing away from Deontay Wilder. Let's just use him for an example. Big shout out to him. To me, now I don't know what he's doing now, because if he's training now, then you're probably going to see a new Deontay Wilder. But at first, from what I see with my eyes, Deontay was more of a slugger. Swing, hit you, hoping that one hard one would knock you on your feet, off your feet, which it will. The boy got a powerful hit, but that's what he was depending on. I'm going somewhere with this video. So when you slug, and if you land, especially if you got a hard-hitting hands like Deontay Wilder, the majority of your opponents, you can knock them out. But if your opponent is a boxer, like Tyson Fury, see, I look at that first fight, Tyson didn't train. He was coming off an addiction, the stuff he went through. But that second fight, he trained hard, and you see the outcome. Deontay Wilder, his trainer had to stop that fight. Even though the first fight, Tyson Fury showed me something. When he got knocked down, he took that hit and he got up. But there's a term we say in the boxing field that you got outboxed. You got outboxed. On the basketball field, I would say you got outplayed and outcoached. But you can see that the skills that Tyson Fury had, even in the first fight. And I said if he trained and get himself back together, get his life back together, I don't think Deontay was going to win, and he didn't win. But now if Deontay come back, like right now, I heard he's been getting trained. I don't know if it's by Mayweather or whoever. But if he's being trained to box, see, the reason why I say boxing, because when you see a boxer, they use different techniques. They watch their opponent very closely. They watch everything you do. Almost step by step. So once again, to me, there's a difference between boxing and slugging somebody. I said the same thing about Mike Tyson at first. I'm still a Tyson fan to the heart. But I watched Tyson when he came out and just knocking everybody out because he was so strong. I ain't going to say Tyson couldn't box, but I'm going to say it like this. He wasn't on the skill level of boxing when he first started out, because he was more of slugging. Just look at how wild he would fight. He would come in with that mentality to tear your head off, and he did it. And it worked well for him. Oh, but when he ran up to Holyfield, why would I say that? I ain't taking nothing from Tyson. Love Tyson. Tyson is awesome. But Holyfield have always been a boxer. If you listen to Mike Tyson talk, when they interviewed him after they got cool and whatever, after the biting of the ear and everything, Mike Tyson said that Holyfield was so great that he couldn't figure out what to do because Tyson had never ran up to an opponent like Holyfield. See, the thing about Holyfield can take a hit. Whether you hit him in the body or his head, he got a hard frame. Mike Tyson got outboxed by Holyfield. Tyson was looking to slug and knock Holyfield out fast. I made some money off that fight, by the way, when it happened back in the day. I told the dude if he fight Holyfield, that Tyson was not going to win. It's a difference. You look at Holyfield's techniques. People gonna always say, well, he be headbutting doing. It's a lot of fighters that fight dirty. But I'm still gonna say this: if you look at his techniques, his style, Tyson wasn't ready for that type of style. Even when you go back to Buster Douglas, I mean, everybody thought Buster was gonna lose that fight. But then Buster shocked the world. Now you asked me about Lennox Lewis. I always said Lennox Lewis was tailor-made for Mike Tyson. But Tyson wasn't on his... He wasn't the same Tyson when he fought Lennox. You see what I'm saying? Lennox Lewis stands flat-footed. If you really watch Lennox Lewis don't even really guard his... He really don't even guard his face like like a lot of boxers would. But he caught Tyson slipping. So once again, you got boxing, you got slugging. Let's take Mayweather, for example. Floyd Mayweather, people can say what they want about Floyd Mayweather, but it is Floyd Mayweather defense is so awesome. He's so hard to hit. He quick, he fast, he know how to get out of the way. He know how to outbox you. He don't really look for no knockout. He will outscore you in points. He will figure you out, watch you the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then once he got you figured out, it ain't really nothing too many people can do on Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd Mayweather is a boxer. He knows techniques. He got strategies. So when you separate the sluggers from the boxers, like I said, I'm not saying the slugging ain't gonna work because it did work. But the thing is, how long will a slugfest last versus you going up against somebody who got them hands? I say the same thing about Bernard Hopkins. When B-Hop was in the penitentiary, they said B-Hop was knocking out everybody. But here's the thing about Bernard Hopkins. Not only could Bernard Hopkins box, he also knew how to street fight. So you had a crazy combination right there. And the boy wasn't scared of nothing. Roy Jones, another one. Roy Jones could outbox you and knock you out. See, there's a huge difference in the heavyweight division back then when Ali and Foreman and them fight. See, back then, I'm not knocking nowadays and what we looking at right now and what have happened, but back then, they fought. Now, one fight barely keep the belt to the next fight. But you go back and look at them fights like when Ali fought with his jaw broke. Look at Ken Norton. You look at Larry Holmes. You look at George. Look at the beating that he took from George Foreman. Ali could outbox you. Ali had a strategy, even if it caused him getting his body banged up for a long time. He knew how to tire George Foreman out. George Foreman, I believe George Foreman was a slugger and he was a boxer. That's just my opinion. Because George Foreman would hit you one time and lift you off your feet. But then you look at what's my man's name? Look at Sugar Ray Leonard. Look at that division. Look at Tommy Hitman Harris when they was fighting. Back then, those fights were so great, man. But back to like Bernard Hopkins. I remember when Bernard Hopkins fought Trinidad, one of the most, man, I mean, when you hungry like Bernard Hopkins was, he would say put anybody on his list. Even when he turned, what was that, 50, 48, when he fought that dude, Sean, old school versus new school, he still showed out and won. So when I look at boxing in general, that's what I look at, is who's putting up the points, who's boxing or who's slugging, who's out-thinking the other one versus just, I'm going to go knock him out. So that was Tyson's mentality. Whoever you put in front of him, he going to brutally knock him out. That's what he told you. I'm not scared of nobody. It's ludicrous the way I think. I'm this and I'm that. I'm crazy with it. And he was. But the thing about Tyson, Mike Tyson put more fear in his opponents before the match even started. Tyson was knocking out grown men when he was young. So what I'm saying is the power. But once you learn how to put the knowledge, the techniques with the power, think how really bad you is. I look at the way Tyson started out, like I say, and then when he started calming down in his career, he started turning more into a boxer versus just slugging. He started thinking, because somebody told him, you got to start thinking, because you're not going to knock everybody out like that. And that's what happened with Holyfield. It didn't happen right there. He was so irritated, in that fight, And if you look at that fight, Tyson came out swinging hard like he always do. I thought one of them hits Holyfield was going to for sure go down, but Holyfield took that blow like it wasn't nothing. Just like Tyson Fury took Deontay Wilder's hit. He got up, but Holyfield didn't get knocked out. But man, Tyson Fury got up, and Deontay Wilder made a comment and said God helped him get up. So I love the sport of boxing. We used to always have the fight parties at the house, especially back in the day. How many of y'all remember when the old cable box was out, Topcom, the old brown box, A and B side? That's a long time ago, years ago, when you used to have the chip off the side of the box and get the cable and free cable and all that, man. Red tag on the line so the cable company wouldn't mess with it. Now, that's to my old school people. But that's what we used to do, man. We used to host the fight parties. I don't care who was fighting. We did the fight parties and we did the WWF wrestling. It was just beautiful, man. We had a blast doing that in the hood, and everybody would come over. We would order food and just have a good time. Watching whoever gonna win. And I watched so many of Tyson's fights. I don't even think it's one I miss. But I say the same thing about boxing, the same thing I say about wrestling. Is not the same no more. It's more of a soap opera, on a lot of them. But then my boy Corey was telling me about this a channel on now where they got real boxing going on, where they not doing all that talking. See, I'm a big fan of when the Sportatorium was around down here in Dallas, Texas. I know a lot of young people, they don't even know what that is, but when the Sportatorium was around, and you had Junkyard Dog, Iceman, King Parson, and the Von Erichs, Fritz Von Erich, the Iron Claw. I mean, man, it was on back then. Sid Vicious, all them, the Road Warriors, which turned their name into Legion of Doom. I can go on and on and on about those names, but that's when wrestling was real fun, man. When you could go see it in person, down in the Sportatorium down here. But they, of course, the Sportatorium closed down. So I used to be a big fan of wrestling, but I don't watch it no more, But boxing have always been one of my favorite things to watch, even to this day. I just love to see a good boxing match. But like I say, I always say I do believe a lot of things are rigged. I could be wrong, but I don't really think I'm wrong because I done seen so much dirt, not in just boxing, but football, basketball. I remember that time when the Mavericks, them referees got caught cheating. People were saving points. So when I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, it's entertaining, but at the same time, I think a lot of it is still fixed. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose, and when somebody lose, I believe they lose, but they lose with more money in their pocket. So yeah, I always, well, like I say, as I wrap this video up, I know this is a different type of video for the boxing fans, but y'all always ask me. As I said, let me just, do a video about this, because I love to look at that boxing, but it's not the same no more, Everybody kept wanting when was Joshua, Anthony Joshua, gonna fight Deontay Wilder. I don't know if they're gonna ever set that one up. But I do believe Deontay, after that Tyson Fury, I believe he's training hard now. I know his former coach came back and just came back and said some stuff about him, But it is what it is, I hope Deontay getting himself back together. Cause I was enjoying what he was doing. I'm not knocking the youngster. I'm proud of him, love him. Glad he was able to make a beautiful way to provide for his family. Because I looked at how he was before he got into boxing, So I'm just grateful he used his talent, to make a way for his family, man. He got a beautiful family. He's doing good, So when you lose, the world gonna always be like, oh man, Ali lost, Tyson lost, Foreman lost, everybody lost, Mayweather's the only one, I'm going to say that, but Mayweather, it just ain't nobody figured out how to really get to Mayweather yet, and hats off to Mayweather. You can say what you want about him. He talk too much, he too cocky, he shouldn't be doing what he want with his money like that, but I guarantee you, if you go back and watch Mayweather's story, with his family, his daddy, mama, you'll see why Mayweather act like he act. You might say he's taking it too far, but who's to say what you would do if you grew up like that and then you finally start coming into some money and you don't want to live back like the lifestyle you was living. So I'm proud of them. I don't knock the next person when they come up, because I'm from the hood myself, People always say, don't leave the hood, man, don't forget about us. But you think about that, man. Go back and listen to Master P. Go back and listen to Lil Boosie and go ask them why they don't stay in the hood no more and why they got out the hood. Not saying they don't have no love for the hood, but there's so many people in the hood that will want you dead. They're going to try to rob you, smoke you, kill you, get you for everything you got because a lot of them not going to try to work hard like you did. I don't blame nobody when they get up out of the hood. You should want to get out of the hood if the hood done just drug people down and killed them and the drugs and the violence and all that. You should want your kids to grow up better than you grew up. So I don't knock no person, that they want to get educated or come up and move out. That's not being no sellout. That's being real, and you really looking out for your family. But most people in the hood don't understand that, So I love the email, brother. Great email. You asked me who was my favorite boxer of all times. I would have to go with Ali. If I had to pick one person, I would have to go with Ali. Not only would Ali talk that trash, but Ali would back it up. One of my greatest fights, man, was Ali and Foreman, and then my other boy, what's his name that passed on? I thought they was gonna make a statue out of for him. What's my man name? All my mind went blank. Him and Ali fought 3 times. Joe Frazier. Them my favorite fights right there, man. Ali and Frazier, Ali and Foreman, But like I say, back then, man, there was so many great fights. Not taking nothing away once again from nowadays, but it was so many great fights back in the day, and they held on to their belt. They did. And they fought, man. You look at them rounds, man, round by round by round. They fought till they looked like they were just going to kill each other, But I look at a lot of the youngsters now, man, like Adrian Broner and so many. What's my boy from down here where I'm at? He came out of the car wreck. And he's back fighting again. Oh man, my mind is I can't even think of his name at the moment. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I think he's from DeSoto, Texas. But he's the next one on the rise, man. He just had that fight with Sean Porter not too long ago. Sean Porter's another one, man. I think that fight was great, and I can't think of my man's name from DeSoto, but Sean Porter was hanging tough in that fight. I believe they should fight again because Porter, that was a close one to me, man. It's a lot of fights I watched that I don't agree with them judges, that I would say is close. where it could look like it could have been another person, but you know, that's the thing when you being judged, you know, them judges gonna look at certain things their way, they gonna give you their opinion, and they gonna give you their little judgment. So it's like, but you be looking on the outside and you be like, I think what's the name won that fight. So there have been a lot of boxers that have been robbed, I believe, when they were fighting. I'm not talking about physically robbed, I mean robbed from the winning. But I'm a very hard up Roy Jones fan. It's so many of them I like. When Roy was in his prime, I never seen nobody box with a style like that, you know. And I used to always love to see Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins talk that noise, man. I remember their first fight, you know. But these guys, man, they have grown up and been great boxers, and they teaching others, and they benefiting from it. They investing, you know, they doing what they supposed, you know. Oscar De La Hoya, you know, like I said, I remember Trinidad. I remember all them boys, man. But now you don't even hear a lot of those. We know what De La Hoya is doing, and we know what B-Hop is doing, you know. But it's a lot of new cats on the scene now, you know. Errol Spence, that's his name. It just came to me. Errol Spence. Errol Spence. Down here from either from DeSoto or Duncanville. I think it's DeSoto, Texas. But he's the next one everybody got their eyes on. That's who I'm talking about, that Sean Porter fought. And he got some skills, man. I believe he's a boxer, the way his style is, you know. And you got some boxers out here that can switch to southpaw on you, man, and just, I mean, do it, you know. You asked me in your email that fight I thought about Roy Jones, and I'm gonna try to wrap it up after this. Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver had a hard right. Antonio was another one I say was waiting on that hitter quitter, you know. And I think Zab Judah was a southpaw, if I'm not mistaken. If they catch you, just like when he caught Roy, but to me, Roy, I don't think Roy was at the best in his training before that. Sometimes these boxers, they'll take a fight so quick, you know, and that's the same thing I said about Deontay Wilder. I believe when he fought Tyson Fury, I thought they was gonna wait a little bit longer to fight, you know, because the simple fact that he knew Tyson Fury was training hard, you know. And that's another thing, when you got a good trainer on your side, man, you know. And I like what his trainer told him, even though Dante got mad when he started the fight, but he said, man, I'm not trying to see you get killed. Because that last fight with Tyson Fury, he was putting it on Deontay Wilder, man, you know. Because you think about that, man, when you take too many blows, I hate to say this, and I'm going to close with this, but I hate to say this, but I believe my boy Muhammad Ali took too many blows to the head. Way too many blows to the head, you know. And my wife was just talking to her sister about this, about these sports. She was talking about football, though, how a lot of them just don't know how to stop when it's time to stop. But most of them are not going to stop because the love that they have for the game, for the sport, you know. Ali was just, that's all Ali cared about, you know. Like I say, man, and I looked at a lot of my football players. I look like Earl Campbell. I look at Dorsett, Tony Dorsett from the Cowboys now. When they was interviewing him a few years back, you know, when you take so many hits, like Troy Aikman, look at all those concussions he had being a quarterback. When you get older, that stuff, it plays a part on you, and it'll mess you up, you know. I mean, when Michael Irvin was talking one time, the doctor told him, you get hit the wrong way one more time, you might not walk again. You might not walk again, or you're going to really mess up your shoulder, you know. So and people ask me, what did the Bible say about it? Is it a sin to box? Is it a sin to play basketball, all this stuff? You got your free will to do what you want. It's not addressed in the Bible that a man should not box, but we also know what the Bible says about taking care of the temple. But you're not going to hell because you're a boxer or a basketball player like a lot of them Church of God in Christ preachers will tell you and stuff. You going to hell for playing sports or wearing shorts. That ain't nowhere even in the Bible, you know. But you have to use spiritual discernment and make good judgments because everybody don't have the same talent, the same gift. So if that man know how to use his hands, and that's what he's gonna do, then that's what he's gonna do. But the thing is, how far is he gonna take it? You know? Because you think about it, you keep getting hit in your head. You keep getting banged up in your body. After a while, that body gonna shut down. The body is really telling you, I can't take no more, but you pushing it. Or you taking some kind of painkiller or drug to try to stay up. In the long run, you're gonna hit rock bottom, man, you know, because your body can only take so much. So I didn't even mean to do this video this long, but that's my little 2 cents on that. Slugging versus boxing, you know. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Shalom.